I had always loved the ocean. I had always loved the water. On weekends, I would occasionally take my boat out and just enjoy myself out on the water. Sometimes I'd fish, sometimes I'd just joyride around the island, enjoying the beaches, enjoying the wind, the sand, the sunlight, the warmth, the beauty. The ocean was always a refuge for me, away from normal life. On the ocean, I was just me. I could just be myself and just relax, just enjoy, and just do what I wanted. Till one day that peace and that relaxation and that joy was violently taken from me. It was almost like any other day. It was around 5 o'clock in the evening. The sun was starting to get low, and I decided to call it a day and start to take my boat back to my dock. Suddenly, almost out of nowhere, there were these severe gusts of wind. 30, almost 40 miles an hour out of nowhere. My boat would shake, the swells would grow and start splashing over the bow. I nearly got knocked off of the wheel by a rogue wave. It wasn't huge, but it was large enough to open my eyes and keep my head on a swivel. I made it back to the dock, and I checked the National Weather Service report, and there was no report of excessive wind or anything like that. There were no storms, there was no precipitation or moisture. In fact, we had a high pressure system for the next couple of days in our area. No signs of rain or moisture or anything crazy like that. The rogue winds had only lasted for about a few minutes, but it was pure hell. I shook my head. I ran to a couple captains that were docked at the same place that I was and asked about the winds from earlier. A couple of them nodded and said they thought it was very weird. They'd never experienced something like that before. One just shrugged and acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. But it seemed like something was off, something wasn't right. It was very unusual. I shrugged my shoulders and went about my business. Later on that night, fog began to roll in. All kinds of fog. Thick fog. Fog so thick you could hardly see it in front of you. Granted, it's later wintertime, early spring. This is the season for fog, but I've never seen fog this thick before. Not in movies, not in real life, not in TV shows, not in documentaries, nothing. I went outside and just had a look. Had a look at the weather report. And all of a sudden, the forecast did call for fog, but I'd never seen anything like this. I went back outside. I could see the lighthouse flashing in the distance. They're sure going to eat that tonight, I thought to myself, thinking of the boats and ships that needed it for navigational purposes going into the bay. I went back into my house and sat in my chair and began to read. I was reading by candlelight because I thought it was more atmospheric, and I kind of liked the feel and the ambience of the whole situation. Because I didn't know that fog was possible. It could be thick. I get back to my reading. In the distance, I hear explosions, banging, repeated explosions, boom after boom after boom. The hell is that? I rush to my door and open it. I look out, and the booming continues, and I hear the sound of something whizzing by through the air. My neighbor's house explodes in flames. Cannon fire. Cannon fire. What the fuck's the Navy, the Coast Guard? What the fuck? What's going on? The cannon fire continues. Taking out the lighthouse. Taking out the city hall. Taking out the police department. The Coast Guard substation. Everything is being systematically targeted and knocked out. I go back to my house, try to switch the lights on, but oh no. The power grid's out. I go down to my basement and turn on my gas-powered generator. I managed to get some light. But for some odd reason, that fails as well. Then a silence. There's no more banging, no more booming, no more firing. A cold chill runs through my blood. What the hell's going on? I go to my phone, but there's no internet connection, no service is available. Shit. I take a look outside again, and all that's showing is the moonlight shining through the fog. There's no sign of life, no people, no... Come to think of it, I hadn't heard anyone else do anything or say anything this whole time. Just the destruction of the town by some unseen evil force. The sound of the cannons didn't sound like cannon fire from a modern day warship. It sounded something from old times, pirate times back in the 16th century or 17th century. I lock my door. I grab a shotgun and load it with slugs. I load it and wait. Maybe I can just ride this out till morning out. Let's see what I can do. Taking a look out my window and the fog, it keeps going thicker and thicker. The light of the moon almost eclipsed an ocean of white vapor surrounding everything. Unscathed, unmoved, thick. Thicker than thick. Then, as I return back to my reading, I hear a sound from outside. Something scratching at the outside of my house. Sharp edge against sharp edge, just a terrible screeching noise. I hear a scream from outside, pounding on the door. Open up! Open up! Andy, open up, it's me. Cliff, open up now. The first soul I'd heard from this whole time it was Cliff. One of my neighbors. I open up the door. I slam it behind him. He grabs me by the shoulders. Brace the door. Brace the fucking door right now. Andy, brace the damn door. Okay. I oblige and we brace the door with some furnishings. And we lock it. Andy, you will not believe what the hell is going on. What's going on, Cliff? I don't get. What the hell happened? Are we being invaded? What the hell is going on? Everything's down. Everything's out. What's going on? He shook his head. Fighting to find the words. I could see desperation, fear in his eyes. He was sweating and shaking profusely. It's like the gate of hell has been opened up and the residents are walking amongst us. He screamed. I put my hand on his shoulder and motioned for him to sit down. Let me give you a drink of water, you look rough. Thank you, he said. No, what the hell's going on? Listen, Andy, you're going to think I'm crazy, but just then I could hear the screeching sound from outside again. This time louder. Coming from the outside wall closer to the door. My front door. Cliff and I look at each other silently. What the hell is that? I mouth to him silently. He shrugs his shoulders and shakes his head. The knob on the door turns. Once. Twice. 3 times. Someone or something was trying to get into my house. Then silence. Cliff gets up and goes toward the door silently. I ready my shotgun once again. We can head over to the door with him. A blade pierces the door, impaling Cliff through the throat. Blood gushes out of his mouth. I open fire. Once, twice, 3 times. The blade retracts back outside, but not without the damage being done. Cliff, bleeding profusely, grabs his throat and drops to the ground, gurgling and gaggling in pain, shaking. Put my hand over his throat. Try to calm him down, but he's gone. I hear the screeching from outside once again. An eruption at the door. It bursts wide open. No resistance. The fog begins to roll into my house. My blood chills, the hair on the back of my neck stands up. I head over to my safe and begin to load the shotgun again. I start to shape and fumble through my ammunition, struggling to load into my firearm. Then I hear another screech, this time at my threshold. It's a figure, a dark figure with glowing gold eyes, dressed in old 17th century pirate or sailor attire. I load the shotgun again. Point aim, but he shoots at me with a musket, hitting me right in the trigger hand, causing me to drop the weapon. Just then a knife is thrown at me. It clips the corner of my shirt next to my shoulder and pins me against the wall. Walking behind them, the figure is another dark figure. This one seeming to have a stump leg. Slowly waddling towards me. Then a whole crew of men, maybe 10 or 12, maybe even 15 dark figures go into my house, ransacking the place. A couple of them find some of my gold coins in my collection, nodding towards each other in approval as they take them. I make a gesture in protest, but the first dark figure puts his sword against my throat and shakes his head, warning me not to dare interfere with what's happening. The temperature in the room drops. down to the 40s, it felt like. The crew finishes the ransacking. But the gentlemen were not through with me yet. The main man with the hat, the big, large sailor hat, and the sword, grabs me by the collar of my shirt, removes the knife from my shoulder, pulls me along with the crew. As we go through the fog, I could see the dark figures. God, there must have been hundreds of them, or thousands of them, ransacking every single house, every single business, taking everything that was valuable and setting a fire, setting ablaze to anything that was not of use. I could hear screams in the distance, screams right next to me. Musket fire. Screams of pain, fear. Executions. Beheadings. Shootings. We head over to the bay where the port is. And I get a view of their vessel. A mighty vessel, made extensively out of what appear to be bones. Human bones, maybe. The vessel was enormous. About 300, no, maybe 400 feet long. About 100 or so feet wide. Enormous masts of bones with these terrible black sails. At the bow was this design of a demonic-looking skull or a face. And inside was this almost furnace-looking device or weapon that had something orange at the front of it. The vessel was loaded with hundreds of cannons. Large, foot-wide cannons. Maybe 18-inch cannons. As I was being brought aboard, I'm shoved into the side of the vessel. Blasphemer was written on the side of the vessel in Old English print. Screams, gunfire, fires raging through the town. We climb on board. The main man's sword at my back, itching at my spine, threatening to pierce through. Then I hear a deep, low horn sounding. So all the men make their way back to the ship. The town set ablaze. The main man snaps his fingers. one time. Then a sound from beneath the deck begins to trigger my attention, as if something was being warmed up, prepared. Then an incredible stream of molten rock, fire, pierces out from the bow, soaking the town with this terrifying weapon. The blaze rages further up. I shake my head and roll my eyes. God, I must be dreaming. What the fuck is this? Another horn sounds again, deep and low. The vessel begins to leave the port. We turn, make our way out of the bay and into the open sea. The sword of the captain still at my back. We would go several miles. The burning of the town still raging in the distance. We come across a... Oh God. We go across the wreckage of a Navy destroyer. It had been completely blown to several pieces and is now outside, partially submerged. A little less than a mile offshore. Go further offshore. The crew huddle around me, their golden eyes staring directly into my soul. The captain directs me towards the side of the vessel on this long wooden plank going out into the ocean. A jab at my back. Another jab. Can he move forward? I shake my head no, but jabs me once again, and this time I have drawn blood, and I nod and I head over. As I begin to move down the plank, my whole body's shaking, not knowing what to expect. Black ocean, covered by a thick veil of fog, stare at me. A fin arises. Large dorsal fin about 5 feet high. And he begins to circle the ship. I'm poked once again. I shake my head in protest, no, but I'm poked once again and I fall over. Into the ocean I go. Disoriented, I struggle to stay afloat. Struggle and struggle. A massive cherry erupts on the vessel. Several musket shots go off. Merriment and music making begin. The vessel, blasphemer, begins to go off, leaving me with the giant fish set to consume me. The fin circles and circles. My blood chills once more. My throat tenses. I start to move slowly and deliberately through the water without making too much of a commotion. Then I begin to hear a beeping sound as a light starts to pierce through the fog. Someone's coming this way. I hear another light from above. Noise from above, the sound from above is the beating of a helicopter with a large spotlight on me. It's a Coast Guard helicopter. A Coast Guard patrol boat. God, thank you. I pray underneath my breath. The shark still circling. Its giant tail swooping behind the dorsal. The helicopter begins to descend down. A ladder is lowered for me. I begin to make my way back over and I climb the ladder. Just as I start to climb up the ladder, the chopper begins to ascend back up. The fin then goes deep down and accelerates. The chopper ascends up, but not before the giant fish bursts out of the ocean, opening its despicable mouth wide. 6, 7 feet wide, maybe. Incredible teeth, 7, 8 inches long. With one fell swoop of its jaws, it closes, just missing our ladder by less than a foot. We're well over 100 feet in the air. The giant beast just barely misses me. Falls back down into the ocean, leaving an enormous splash. The men on the Coast Guard patrol boat begin to throw grenades into the water, pushing the beast out towards the open ocean. The animal descends down into the depths, never to return. I shake my head. The Coast Guard's men bring me up and inform me that my town had been under a naval assault. That was unlike any other naval assault I'd seen ever or heard of before. We know, said the pilot. We know.